Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife that I knew she cheated a decade ago and not wanting to stop cheating? About a decade ago, my friend discovered my 43 male wife, 43 female, with another man in a bar being lovey-dovey. He informed me about it and showed me the photos. I wanted to confront her, but my friend told me to prepare for divorce before doing anything. So I booked an appointment and even drew papers, but I never served her. My confidence was in the toilet and I decided to find another woman first before divorcing her, which I am now being told has a name. It's called monkey branching. When I started my own affair, I decided to end the marriage after Christmas. Then it became New Year. My next deadline was after kids' birthdays, but I never pulled the trigger. I realized that I like my life. I get to have fun with other women while not worrying about relationship things with them. I have a steady girlfriend for the past 4 years who knows about my wife. Initially, I don't think my wife even noticed that I was having an affair, most likely because she's busy with hers. Then it became new normal that I will be gone with my buddy on hikes and stuff. My friend always covered for me, but his wife found out a few months ago and told my wife. My wife confronted me, and I just told her I knew about her affair and I even have a photo. She was shocked and then started crying. I thought she would get off my back after that, but nope. She told me that affair was a mistake, and she got carried away and stopped it. I told her I don't really care to know about her affair. She asked me to go to couples therapy, which I refused. She has started individual therapy, and her therapist is feeding her mind with rubbish. She came and told me that I need to cut off my girlfriend and work on our marriage. She said she has made a mistake, but she is creating boundaries for herself and I should respect them. I said fine, I will cut off things with girlfriend. I obviously was not gonna cut off my girlfriend just because my wife told me to, but I decided to keep things down low, but she caught me again. I guess she has become very vigilant. She gave me an ultimatum. I said fine. She didn't believe me, and she was not wrong. She asked me what I want in exchange, and I told her that I like my life. I am not gonna change it one bit, and definitely not because she wants me to. I like spending time with my girlfriend, and I will continue to do so as long as I want. I just want her to be a wife that she has been for past decade and don't get in my way. She asked me what I will do if she gets in my way, and I said I will just go around her. She said I can't keep punishing her for one mistake, and I didn't say anything in return. I am not really punishing her. She is punishing herself. All she has to do is enjoy her life like she did for the past decade, turn a blind eye and not care. I don't even mind if she gets a side piece for herself. As long as she is a good domestic partner, I am not gonna leave her. And definitely not till the kids are out of the house. I am not doing anything she hasn't done, so I don't see why she's so upset. Now for the top comments. Info. If it's been a decade, the kids must at least be in their teens now. Why not just get divorced? Because he doesn't just want a life partner. He wants someone to take care of all the housework for him and parent his kids while he's off with his girlfriend. To be fair, it sounds like she wants the same thing, since OP said he has had a girlfriend for 4 years and thought his wife didn't notice because she was cheating during that time. Both adults are massive a-holes here. Let's not lay blame on only the husband and not the wife. She wants to cheat, but she doesn't want to be cheated on. Both messed up, toxic, and childish. Just divorce. Nah, don't. Don't flood the dating scene with such a-holes. Keep your toxicity in your marriage. They're already dating though, so too late for that. What are you people doing? At any point, has anyone thought about the kids? You're both responsible for your own participation in your marriage. What are you teaching your kids right now? Your marriage has failed. Why are you choosing to show your kids how to live in an unhealthy relationship? Y'all are very immature and selfish. You both failed your partnership. Perhaps it's time to step up and try to be better parents. Stop pointing fingers at each other. Own your own actions and stop lying to control each other. Do either of you want to do the right thing for your kids' future? Everyone sucks here. You're both wrong and your kids are getting the consequences of your behavior. They both suck so freaking much. I hope their kids turn out healthy and cut these two morons out. Next story. Am I the a-hole for making my ex's fiancé cry? I feel like crap, so I am probably the a-hole. My female 44 ex then husband, male 49, cheated on me with his current fiancé, female 30. This was 2 years ago. I found out when she contacted me to tell me to leave his house. She was pregnant. I was broken because I thought he loved me. He begged me to work things out. I don't know why I agreed at first, maybe because I wasn't catching up with the changes. But a couple of months later, with lots of couples counseling, I realized I wasn't in love with him anymore. He went back to his girlfriend and they got engaged. I started dating my boyfriend, male 40, not long after. Now they have had their child and I thought they were happy, at least if you believed the girl's Instagram. I don't follow her because she used her social media to bash me and call me bitter and jealous. Anyway, we are cordial now. Yesterday, my daughter turned 15 and we had a party. She was following me around like she wanted to talk. Then she offered to help cleaning. She started asking weird questions about my relationship with her fiancé and how it was. I realized that she was talking about intimacy. They're not having any since they conceived. I was embarrassed and confused. I tried to explain that it was different since we met in our 20s and that men's drive plummets when they got older. She looked a mixture of shocked and sad. I asked her why she didn't find someone her age instead of sleeping with a married older man. She got angry, but I told her that while his drive will be worse, hers will increase. She looked literally panicked. He doesn't seem a pricey one from me now, huh? She started crying. So yeah, I am the a-hole. I didn't even apologize. I know my remark was nasty and in reference to her saying she won and love prevailed when they got together. She will not leave him either because he pays for everything and she doesn't work. So my comment was unnecessary. I don't know why I said it. Thinking back, she's done me a favor since I now have an intimate life again. But I still don't understand. Why do some girls get together with so much older men? Don't they know what awaits them? I don't know. I have never seen a happy woman in an age gap relationship, not actually satisfied anyway. Maybe I am odd for believing intimacy is very important in relationships? I don't know. I think it was completely audacious for her to come to you with her relationship problems. What you said was harsh perhaps, but in my opinion, not uncalled for, especially in the context of her flaunting the fact she won and love prevailed. Her asking you for help and insight was frankly outrageous. You've all found a way to be cordial, and this convo happened at your daughter's birthday party. How self-centered and clueless could she be? I think your response was actually reasonably warranted. Yes, very self-centered. That's something that was really obvious from the beginning. Honestly, I think your response was needed. Anything less might have inclined her to think you were open to this kind of interaction in the future. Anything remotely more subtle might have been lost on her given that self-centeredness and immaturity. Stating facts does not make you an a-hole. I think this is what TV tropes calls the punishment is the crime. I think some people get such an ego boost from stealing someone away from a partner. It never occurs to them that they stole something not only worthless but detrimental. Or it never occurred to them that the partner they slept with will sleep with others behind her back as well. I think it's not about libido. Most probably, he is kind of done with her. The chase of forbidden is now gone, and the responsibility of a young child in his age is making him realize that grass is not that green at the other end. Maybe. I mean, ours dwindled with time, yes, and it was normal. But we never went 2 years without. Wait, she's gone 2 years without? Guaranteed it's probably cheating again. My money is on this. And maybe he is remorseful that he ruined his marriage? He is very remorseful, yes. He should be seeing his children become adults and spread their wings in a few years and start planning retirement with his soulmate. Not changing diapers and living with someone he has nothing in common with. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking back my request for my mom to walk me down the aisle? So my fiancé and I thought it would be sweet if we were both walked down the aisle by our parents at our wedding. For her, that's both her parents. And for me, that's my mom. I lost my dad 11 years ago when I was 14. My mom was thrilled when I asked her and told me she was so excited to walk her baby boy down the aisle. The problem came when she told her husband that I wanted them to walk me down the aisle. Not just her, like I explicitly stated, but her and her husband, who has never been my parental figure. It only came into my life as an adult. He was excited about the prospect as well, and he called me up and told me he was glad I was finally letting him step into the role of father figure because he always wanted kids, and he was proud to have a son. I had no idea where this came out of, so I asked what it meant, and he said the fact I wanted my mom and him to walk me down the aisle meant I was embracing him as a parent too. I told him I had not asked for both of them. I asked just my mom. He acted like I never spoke. So I called my mom and asked where he got the idea I had asked him, and she told me she hadn't seen it as a big deal because they're married and he's a good man. And surely I want him to be grandpa to my future kids, so including him in this shouldn't be such a big deal. I told her it is a big deal because he is not my parent, and if anyone was going to be walking with us, it would be Dad, but he's not here, and because he's not here, I don't want anyone else. I told her she needed to clear things up with her husband, and she told me no. She said she would not crush him, and I could man up and allow him the joy of experiencing this with us. I told her I was not going to walk with the two of them. She told me it was too late to back out now, and what harm would it do? She told me it would crush him to have taken it back. I told her he blatantly ignored me when I already told him, and she defended it, saying he was excited and wanted to be included. I told her I wouldn't walk with her if she didn't fix this, and she told me I had to walk with her. I already asked and she already accepted. Which is when I told her if that was her stance, then I was taking back the offer for her and she could figure out what to tell the man she married. All hell broke loose when I told my mom this, and she told me I was behaving like a child and excluding a good man for no good reason, as well as punishing her for trying to be a good wife. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You offered a sweet gesture and she completely ruined it. Does she try to override your wishes on a lot of things, or just in regard to her husband? Is she going to create a bunch of drama at the wedding now? This is all very new to me. My mom never did anything like this before, not even with her husband. But I never lived with him, so maybe that's part of the reason why. Drop her a note that says, "Dear Mom, I was obviously hurt and disappointed when you chose not to walk me up the aisle without your husband, but I accept and respect your choice, and will not attempt to pressure you into changing your mind. Fiancé and I thought it would be a sweet moment to walk up the aisle with our parents, but since you don't wish to participate, we're just going to go the traditional route of the groom meeting the bride at the altar. Don't allow her to bring up the subject again. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your mom is being manipulative. There are lots of good men around, some of which will probably be guests at your wedding, none of which will be walking you down the aisle because they are not your parent. Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials." It seems so often the surviving parent doesn't get how deep the child's loss and grief are, and how they don't want their dead parent replaced. It's disrespectful to try to push a new spouse into that role. If the child wants it, that's great, but often they don't. Last story. Am I the a-hole for saying, "This is exactly why she never told you about him," to my brother about his son? My nephew is 3 years old and we only found out about him a few months ago. Obviously, the last few months have been rough on all of us, but especially my brother, who I think was in shock and denial for the longest time. One of the big reasons his ex didn't tell my brother about his son was because she didn't want him to grow up spoiled and entitled like most of my family. My parents also really hated her and did a lot to try and get my brother to dump her for the longest time, so she was scared of how they'd react if they knew. Example, my dad had her fired from her grad job, and I think he was the reason she couldn't get another one in that field. My nephew turned 3 right around the time we found out, so we weren't able to celebrate, and his ex would only accept one small gift from my brother for him. So my family are belatedly celebrating his birthday, and they're going all out. My brother has bought more toys than one kid needs, and is talking about taking him to Disney, even though there's no way in hell his ex would let him take my nephew abroad. Anyway, we were talking about the party yesterday, and I told my brother we should tone it down and he shouldn't give his son that many gifts in one go, because it'll upset his ex, and most likely overwhelm my nephew whose life has already been flipped upside down. I think for my nephew's sake, it would be best if we work with his ex, because we're all going to be connected forever now, so there's no point fighting or holding on to grudges. My brother disagreed and said he wouldn't let his ex dictate his relationship with his son. I was going to explain why fighting with her wouldn't be good for my nephew, but our cousins were all siding with him and crapping on me for defending her. They think I'm only siding with her because she's one of my best friends and I'm trying to be friends with her again. I do want her as a friend, but that's beside the point. I was irritated because they were ganging up on me, and in the heat of the moment, I said, "This is exactly why she never told you about him," to my brother. He didn't say anything, but my cousins tore me to shreds. My brother has barely spoken to me since, and for some reason, my family is now convinced I knew about my nephew all along when I absolutely didn't. My brother is also being so nasty to his ex now when he wasn't before, and I think it's because he's taking his anger at me out on her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You spoke the truth. Your brother feeling entitled that his ex doesn't get any say in how he interacts with her child sounds like precisely why she concealed that info from him. The very first opportunity he had, he showed that he would not respect her boundaries. I'm also guessing that him being an a-hole who doesn't respect her wishes is related to why they're exes. Most people don't want to become single parents with no involvement or support from the other parent without any reason. It's both of their child. If she gets a say in how he interacts with her child, shouldn't he get an equal say by in how she interacts with her child? It isn't really their child, it's hers. She was pregnant alone. She gave birth to the child alone, and she alone cared for the baby for 3+ years. Honestly, I hope she takes her baby and runs away fast and far. So it sounds like your family is pretty affluent and the ex didn't care and just wanted to stay away. Yeah, I think the ex will be a wonderful mother. You a good aunt, your brother a less than ideal father, and your parents the grandparents from hell. That's what I'm afraid of. They might encourage him to go for custody of their child and use their affluence to sway the court's decisions in their favor. How did the family find out about the child? A friend of hers told my brother. I hope she drops that friend like a sack of rocks and run. Your brother sounds horrible. I don't think she knows that's how we found out. I would tell her, but given the situation, I doubt she'll believe me right now. My brother isn't a horrible person. He's had a huge bomb dropped on him and his emotions are all over the place. It doesn't help that everyone is feeding his anger by constantly telling him it's all her fault and she's some evil witch who did this to be spiteful. I know once he gets his emotions in check, he'll see reason and do what's best for his son. He actually blamed himself when he first found out because he was a bastard, his words, to her when he broke up with her. So part of him knows this isn't all of her fault.